Hello, everyone. Well, we are going to be understanding about plant-based supplements. If you are vegetarian or vegan, do you need supplementation or not? And if yes, what type of supplementation? Well, we have Anna. Anna is a plant-based nutritionist, and she infuses mind-body therapies with the plant-based nutrition to help all of us achieve the maximum benefits and regain our energy. So she is joining me live from Spain. Namaste, and thank you so much, Anna.
Thank you for inviting me.
So let's just understand, I'm assuming you're vegetarian. I am also vegetarian, but I'm not vegan. But then, you read in the on internet that you need more supplements and all that stuff. So talk to us, if someone is vegetarian or vegan, what type of supplementation do they need?
Well, I've been vegan for 5 years, so I can talk from all the research that I've done and from my own experience as well. And the first nutrient that comes to mind when people think about vegan diets is, of course, B12. People think that B12 comes from animals, but it actually doesn't. It comes from the bacteria in the soil. And because we're so clean, so we wash our vegetables really well, we use pesticides, there's pretty much no B12 left in the food. So we always say to everyone, just supplement to be on the safe side. There are certain types of food, such as certain mushrooms, if you don't wash them, like if you plant your own food and you don't wash them, there could be some B12 there, but it's really hard to quantify it. Certain seaweed might have B12, but it's not active B12, so you have to be careful with that. Especially spirulina and chlorella, there's so many supplements that might say it has B12, but it's an analog B12. So it's better to take those supplements away from B12 supplementation as well. So you have to be a bit careful with that. And I would just go for the recommended, which is 2000 micrograms of B12. So you can have cyanocobalamin or methylcobalamin, either or, because the studies have been done with mainly cyanocobalamin, which is a little bit less active. But the studies are there, so they say that it works. And you just take that once a week. And that way you're going to be on the absolute safe side. And also, like, there's other fortified foods, like some plant milks will have B12 as well. But again, just be on the safe side and supplement. And shall I move on to the next one?
Please.
Any questions?
No. Please continue.
Perfect. So the next vitamin that comes to mind is B12. And this one is especially important, of course, if you live in the northern hemisphere. And I think by now, most of us know that B12, we get it from the sun, from the rays of the sun.
Vitamin D, you mean?
Vitamin D, yeah.
Yes.
So during winter times, if you live in the north hemisphere, you will need to supplement, because even if you don't go outside, you might not get enough vitamin B. And food sources, again, mushrooms come in play, but the mushrooms will have to be exposed in the sun, and then they're able to synthesize a little bit of vitamin D. But again, I wouldn't take that as a source. It's better to just go out in the sun during the summer, and during the winter, just supplement. And the best, the only way of knowing really is to go to get a blood test. So I would always recommend just get a blood test at the beginning of or maybe in the middle of the winter. And that way you will know your levels. And then the doctor will recommend you should supplement or you should not. So always check it just to be on the safe side. And we move on. So next is the omega-3. Because the main source of omega-3 for an omnivore diet is fish. But the fish don't naturally produce the omega-3. They get that omega-3 from the seaweed, from algae, right? So it will be the same for us. We can get the omega-3 from plants as well. But you have to make sure, again, that you get these sources of omega-3 every day. So they include flax seeds or linseeds. You have to mill them, so make them into a powder to be able to absorb them. You have chia seeds, and you have hemp seeds, and also walnuts are a really good source. So you can eat these every day. However, they come from the non-active omega-3, and your body is able to transform it to the active EPA and DHA, which is what you find in supplements. So I always recommend to people eat these plant sources of omega-3 every day. But if you want to be on the safe side, you can supplement with algae oil or seaweed oil, because the algae is what has the active EPA DHA. So you can take that once a week, or you can take it every day as well if you want to prevent certain diseases like cardiovascular disease or Alzheimer's disease. I would say just, again, be on the safe side. Supplement once a week is really cheap, And that way you will know you have the active EPA DHA. And then we move on to iodine, because we're talking about seafood. Again, most of the sources of iodine comes from the sea. And if you don't eat fish, you will have to eat a bit of algae. So have like a source of algae, so you can have like those, the nourishes that you use to make sushi, for example. You have wakame. You have to be a bit careful with kelp, because it's actually too high on iodine. So I wouldn't recommend that you take kelp, unless you're taking kelp supplements that have the specific amount that you need. And another option is to take iodized salt. But again, you're also trying to reduce in consuming salt. So I would prefer, just to, when you're planning your menus, just add a bit of seaweed once a week, and that will get you covered. There is some iodine in the soil as well, but because the soils are so depleted of nutrients nowadays, again, it's quite hard to get iodine from there. So one more time, be on the safe side, take a bit of algae. And if you're not sure, you can take a multivitamin with iodine in it, or again, just supplement. A couple of times a week should be enough. We move on to zinc. Zinc is pretty easy to get from plant-based sources. Just as you are taking your lean seeds, you can make sure to include other type of seeds. Like pumpkin seeds are a really good source of zinc, or sunflower seeds, and pretty much legumes as well. So I'm not too concerned. It is true that fiber makes it absorb a little bit less. So just make sure to include a bit more pumpkin seeds on your diet. It's a little bit similar with iron. So iron is quite easy to get on the plant sources, but it is a little bit harder to absorb. So with the iron, just make sure that you include some vitamin C in your meals. And like most plants will have vitamin C. So like peppers, you can have a bit of raw peppers, you can have a kiwi for dessert, or put a little bit of lemon juice in all of your meals, fresh lemon juice, and that vitamin C will help to absorb that iron. And the last one that I had on my list is calcium. And for calcium, again, most people think that dairy is the only source, but it's not. Like calcium is pretty much in all plant foods. And you can look them up, but certain plants like bok choy is really good, sesame seeds, or tahini, which is sesame seeds paste. So when you're eating hummus, you're getting the tahini in it as well. Most of the plant-based drinks will have calcium, fortified calcium in it. So just taking a glass of that and just including a ton of whole foods on your meals will be plenty. I would also say to be careful taking calcium supplements, because if they are bad quality supplements, you won't be absorbing it anyway. So if you do choose to supplement calcium because your doctor tells you to do it, just make sure to get food graded calcium. And there's some calcium that comes from seaweed, for example, the supplements. And make sure that you get it with vitamin D, with magnesium, with boron, because they all help to take that calcium to the bones where it needs to go. If you just take calcium on its own, it can actually do more damage than good. So yeah, that's it on my side. I don't think I've forgotten any. Maybe you can think of another few different nutrients that people might think of.
No, I think this is a great list. This is just a quick 10-minute session that we bring. We just wanted to talk about a lot of people are going vegetarian, vegan, and they need to understand, right? It's great for the sustainability, but what are the supplements they might be missing, and how can you get it? And that's exactly amazing job. And thank you so much for being with us, and appreciate your. Yes, we are launching workshops, we're launching a lot of cool things, so stay tuned and keep supporting us. Thank you and have a great week, everyone. Namaste. Bye-bye.